This is chapter 35, section 2, and we're going to be talking about just getting into the nervous system of the human body and some of the basic components. So we're going to start today with the actual neurons, the cells that are sort of the base component of the nervous system. And so I thought I'd start because this is always what everybody asks, and this is always what people want to know is about Albert Einstein. Yeah, this is a cartoon of him playing with a yo-yo, which is pretty funny. And hopefully one day I'll have that hair and mustache. That'd be great. But they did actually take his brain out when he died and analyzed it. And there were some differences. There's no substantial conclusions. There's just sort of speculation on those differences actually contributing to his great work. Some people say that yes, those slight differences did contribute. Others say no, it was hard work and dedication. But he did have some slight differences, particularly in the area where they see spatial and numerical organization in the brain. He had a much more developed and larger portion of that side, whereas language and such, he had quite a bit less. He also had a groove towards the middle sides of his brain that was sort of extended, and they believe this sort of helped neurons communicate faster and such. So anyways, yes, Einstein was brilliant. Was it his brain that functioned way better than anyone else's? Not necessarily. But brilliant man, did some great things. So, important vocabulary, key concept. And so, just like we need to communicate with each other to get things done, right? Like you see in this picture, there's a guy yelling at the other guy. The nervous system is what controls and coordinates all the functions within your body. And so, your nervous system does all this communication between your brain and your hand, your brain and your foot, your brain and your ears, whatever it is. That's where all the communication happens. And this is to respond to external or internal stimuli. So if your internal condition is poor, you're going to get a signal that says so. And it's through this communication from, let's say, your stomach, communicating all the way up to your brain and then back down, etc. This is how the nervous system sort of functions, is through this network of communication. And also external stimuli. So if this guy's yelling at you, you're going to respond accordingly. And it takes a communication between cells and between systems in order to make this happen. And so we're going to talk about a neuron. So I forgot to put that up here. Oh, can I draw with this thing? Does that look like well, it looks like how I write on the board, doesn't it? Pretty much. So this is a neuron. Wow, that is just unbelievable. So neurons are specialized cells, and so I'm going to share some of the parts with you. And you should look at your book, at the diagram in your book, and then also look at the definitions. I'm not going to actually define them in this particular chapter. This is figure 35-5, which is on page 897. So we'll start over here at the dendrites. Dendrites are these long extensions from the cell body, and this is going to take external stimuli, a nerve impulse, electrical impulse, from here, this direction, towards the cell body. So it can be from external environment, but it also can be between cells, as you can see here, the dendrites are linked here. It's going to take electrical signal, and it's going to take it to the cell body. The cell body is just like any ordinary cell, where it has a nucleus and all the other parts that enable a cell to function. And then it's going to send that electrical impulse, it's called the action potential, down this line, as you see this arrow right here. And the signal, once started, does not stop, and it continues to go down in one direction until it's completed. And so it goes down what's called the axon. The axon is this thin sort of filament that runs right along here, and it's going to take what we call an action potential, which is also known as a nerve signal or electrical impulse. And so it's going to take that signal all the way down to the next cell or whatever. And so we have different types of neurons. We have motor neurons, sensory neurons, we have interneurons, and these connect sensory and motor neurons. So motor neurons are impulses from the brain to the spinal cord to the muscular or to muscles or glands. Whereas sensory neurons are going to carry impulses from sensory organs to the spinal cord and brain. And so we'll get more into this as we go along. If I can switch slides. There we go. Oh, that's the next section. Sorry. Neurotransmitters. So neurotransmitters are these chemical signals or packages that are used to transmit an impulse across a synapse. So this right here, this connection here is called a synapse. And we need to get an impulse, an electrical signal from this axon or this neuron over here to this cell over here. And so how we do this is through neurotransmitters. So it's a chemical that sort of transmits this electrical impulse to this next cell. And so as you see here, the electrical signal is going to come down through here. Once it does, we won't get into all the details, but this is a neurotransmitter. That's going to reach this side. All these little tiny red dots are neurotransmitters. They're going to be received by the other cell, this receptor cell, or postsynaptic cell as well. And so it's really closely tied to the digestive system. I don't think I have any questions. There we go. That's the end of chapter 35, section 2.